With the Anima Cup taking place this weekend, we're going to be jumping in a pro scrim VOD review with Deisik. Our gods for the game are going to be Thresh and Soraka, playing in an upgraded 1-cost encounter with Victor. We have Stargazer Serpent, and definitely something that you can be considering as a possibility to play around into the Xayah line. Still quite strong of a line to definitely playing into. Perhaps not providing the highest cap anymore in the game due to how dominant the Space Groove line is, but nonetheless can secure you very good placements and sometimes chase that win out. Just securing the Blitzcrank might be quite hard. We are holding on here onto these Vanguards. We already have a Mordekaiser pair, still one of the better 2-star tanks to be playing around, despite the Zoe nerfs. She still is definitely a prominent carrier, and given that we have a 4 Morello, she can do a lot of work in these stages 2 and 3. And we have a Leona pair, always chasing that possibility for a Leona print. And going into our augment selection, we opted to also make the Twisted Fate too. I doubt that we are playing a TF reroll, but if you're going to be limit testing, you might as well. However, has not seen that much play. Opted to not hold out to Timebreakers. We have these many pairs. Definitely want to be considering a possibility of playing for a tempo spot if we had. Our augment selection here, Apathetic Force would be something if we wanted to streak with. We do not have an upgraded frontliner, but we do have a good potential to be streaking. However, backline for us does not exactly tie into the Vanguard opener. Nonetheless, playing upgraded units is going to provide you a lot of value into that stage 2. We would have to also consider what we can slam, and it seems that most prominent option would be Morello, or you could be slamming a Nashor's Tooth and gambling for a possibility of an JG in that form, unless the Twisted Fate can make use of the Nashor's Tooth as soon as he gets Fate Fever online. One Magic is great for these conduit units, definitely something that you can be proccing it with, and if you are playing into these Vanguard Fast 9, something that is going to provide you the necessary amount of items for that board to cap out. The thing with taking item augments is that always you want to be tempoing with them, and we have an option to pick up a Def. Now that could give us a Mordekaiser too, and this augment is quite underperforming due to various reasons. Quite a lot of them to go into, but as you know me, I sometimes like to pick these interesting games, and we saw No Scout, No Pivot, which we do not have a spot for it. I see like the comp's currently more being played into something like the something like the Israel Show reroll, for example, and Trade Sector is generally a decent econ option even if you're playing a fast state, better in reroll since you can capitalize on those free rolls a little earlier on. But we picked this Heat of Death, and this gives us a Mordekaiser too. Now, the reason why this augment struggles is, first, you are giving up one of your better tanks in the mid game for a damage unit. He can be quite tanky nonetheless, especially if you get 4 Vanguard online, but he does not have a pair to exactly be rerolling with together. Now, for the damage part, we have Zoe, and that is great despite the nerfs still, but Nunu is going to be out of the pool once you make it. And unless you high roll a Nunu on level 6, you're going to struggle quite a bit, and your cap is still extremely contested in the current meta. These Vanguard lines, your LeBlancs, a lot of LeBlancs being played right now, since sometimes you just simply have to stabilize on level 8 and cannot make it for that Shepherd Fast 9 cap. And your units are going to be out, and these boards are going to outcap you nonetheless. Mordekaiser simply is not able to fully upkeep, as he is a little, as you can see, this circle growing. He's a ramping champion, therefore he struggles quite a bit. But obviously, as with anything in TFT, it's always spot dependent. There are some spots to take it, and here we got a 2-star Mordekaiser. We're able to tempo, and whenever you're playing something that is underperforming like this, you have to be playing it from an extreme tempo spot, secure yourself the HP lead, and then bleed out to something like a top 4. And we're exactly on a game plan here, going to be able to go on a 3-win streak with this Morello Slam. He's able to apply it quite neatly, and as said, if you're able to pick up a Zoe, we should be fine to do so. Now, since we're giving up a tank, maybe we should be considering a possibility to be chasing also the Alawi tree, which is good luck given how many Vanguard lines are being played as well. We saw the snap pick into the Thresh's Boon, just wanted to make sure, yes, this was a 6 HP, it does not offer that much. And our components, I think we want to leave this bow open for both the Void Staff and the Titans. If I'm not mistaken, the best build for the Mordekaiser is something like a BT Titans, and then for last lot you can go with any kind of AP item. JG is not particularly mandatory, that would play more in the Hodge comp. He's not exactly a fighter per se as the most of these AP fighters are. Looking for a possibility to play the strongest board, and we're getting some resistances online through these Bastion units. Have the Darkstar in with the Kaisa. We're slamming a Rage Blade because we queue into Master Yi with that Rage Blade augment. Definitely can be played. Again, this is Master Yi, how he finds success. Why he's actually one of the most consistent lands in the meta right now is the reason that you're able to tempo into him. You want to pick him up whenever you're able to tempo into him, and he's one of these two speedy double kill users. We find the psionic and simply getting 3 item unit online is going to be stronger. Unfortunately, as 3 got broken, but we're still going to be trying to tempo as hard as we can. If necessary, invest more gold to be holding the strongest board. And now this is solo leveling Aatrox. Always on the lookout for potential solo leveling units. Aatrox has that potential in him. He's quite tanky here. He has the double, he has the BT and has the protector as well. He's actually able to kill a decent amount of units. And Motive has been, seems to have lost a couple of fights, but nonetheless gotten a lot of kills. So we high roll the Runo on 5. Now this is a huge placement swing for ourselves. Simply this one shop offering the potential for us to secure that single star Nunu, and we're not probably getting a 2-star Nunu unless Deisik is pulling on some world champ hacks, and well, Deisik hasn't been a world champ, but you get what I'm meaning. And we find a spark, and I believe that is exactly it. We're just going to be slamming that right away. Have to invest our items right way, sacrifice the potential for a higher item cap, but the Rage Blade nicely is going to transition onto the LeBlanc herself as well. And yeah, the other way you could obviously cap these Vanguard boards is with something like a Vex as well. But again, Fast 9 is quite prominent in the meta, and Vexes might be out, and she got nerfed as well, so the top cap of this comp got nerfed. Other path you might consider taking is obviously into these Darkstar lines, but Darkstar is heavily reliant without an emblem on you getting to that 6 Darkstar, getting to that Jhin, and if you're rerolling on 6, it's quite unlikely that you're going to get there unless you high roll a Jhin on your level 8 when you're forced to stabilize probably again. For ourselves, we have the augment options. Team building, obviously if you're playing a reroll comp, you're considering some form of econ at this kind of spot, or items. Healing orbs, I believe with the Mordekaiser Zora wouldn't be that strong, since you could kill a stray unit that's good to just simply funnel your strength into some form of frontliner. Otherwise it's decent in melee comps or solo frontline comps. Band of Thieves would offer way potential for a tempo, simply just to provide more items. But team beginning kill here is going to provide more value, allow us that little security of not having to invest too much gold, especially since our 3 got broken, for the possibility to push out the Mordekaiser 3 and then start looking to push levels. Exiles has fallen out of favor this set, especially with Shen around. Now, we're not running Shen, so we can consider it, but there is some tricky to do with positioning and offers you potential wraps. Size doesn't matter, simply the augment is understated in itself. Requires you heavily invest into these health HP items, then you cash out an HP item, which is an overlap in that front. And it seems that he is mapping out this Vanguard Shepherd board, pretty much your standard board that you're going to be playing around. But let's see how this Mordekaiser fares. This is definitely not the itemization we'd be looking for him, but hey, we had to slam the items for the tempo. We're hoping that this tempo from the Mordekaiser 2 that we had secured and is still going to be able to carry over somewhat into this stage. 3 did not exactly high roll the upgrades all that we were looking for, didn't find a single Zoe even yet, but nonetheless this Kaisa is putting in a nice support together with the Victor. But now we finally find that Zoe can get ourselves an Arbiter online. It's a little too late for ourselves to be getting that Leona print, otherwise could have just perhaps even moved the items onto Zoe and go for three attacks with the Rage Blade. This is great whenever you have the Diana in the shop, then you can start printing these Leonas amazingly, top 2 Leonas a turn, and that's how you transition into your fast stage boards. Otherwise, for each Arbiter style level, it's just gaining AP. Now at this point we're considering a possibility to playing around, we're basically locked into playing around a LeBlanc, therefore we're looking for any form of a AP or attack speed buffs for her. And wouldn't this still be 3 attacks be more? He seems to be going for a star level. That is interesting. It provides more upfront AP for yourself. But I thought that also for a LeBlanc you would have wanted to be considering going for simply getting AP from 3 attacks. But perhaps you're considering that is quite far, and this is going to provide us with the most amount of tempo. Now we're going for Reach for the Stars Jax, which is quite neat for ourselves, as someone's going to be also pulling out 2 costs, allowing us to perhaps hit a little bit earlier. Zoe 3 is also going to be far stretch, obviously, to be chasing, since she's so prominent in this mid-game carry. Next selection for ourselves, Breastplate of Prosperity. This thing is still bugged. This should be saying 100 HP and I believe, and increases by 6 now. It said 4 before. I don't know, but I believe he's going to be aligning with Thresh. Thresh simply one of the highest offer gods in the game right now, so having that little bit of a gold is quite neat. We're considering probably the chain here, since it provides a potential for a tank item as well as that Titan's Resolve. Just going to be strolling. We have ethereal rerolls, it seems, so that's quite nice for ourselves. Find that Meepsy too, but it cannot really make our board here as we are evaluating this 2 Darkstar to be more of a buff for ourselves, and that player has already hit Jax 3, had that on a roll, dig deeply, and is now hoping to be able to capitalize on that. Against the tower, it's Mordekaiser is still putting in a lot of work, but unfortunately, since his damage is so much spread, he's just struggling to kill off these units. That is another aspect of why this hero augment has been struggling, right? You could just see that we got the units quite low, but we didn't have a backup carry to really be playing around. And for these hero augments, you want to be having quite strong of a tempo going into that stage 3, and you want to be securing these rounds here. But if you're already struggling against these front lines, okay, this one has a blitz with this insane emblem setup. Holy shit, this guy has a insane board rallied up right there. But finding the units contested, you need that Zoe. Zoe also has spread out damage. That's why they buffed her for single target, but I believe that was also the part that got nerfed again. This comp just doesn't synergistically work out as well as you would want it to. That's why it hasn't seen that much play yet, but hopefully it's going to be a little more prominent going in. We find that Mordekaiser 3 quite early on, only on 4 copies of Zoe, so we're probably going to be ditching that and just trying to push the levels here. We have a decent HP cushion. Our only worry is that gold spawn. We are at level 740 gold. Probably slam the Protector's Vow here, evaluating if it's worthwhile, and we see that we're going to go in with a fight, judging that we have enough. I believe that we can slam the Protector's Vow and leave the Chave open for that Titans, because we probably want a transition of this Mordekaiser build pretty early on. Do get a grab bag, we have hit, and that provides us the most tempo right now. Simply gives the possibility of improving our item quality. Climb the ladder, not playing. This is probably decent in Space Groove, simply gaining more stats, or otherwise your other verticals. Arcane Victory, a little too back-loaded. We're not playing it exactly. We are playing kind of a scaling comp, but not as much. But perhaps he's valuing the combat. I would think that since we're playing a hero augment and we still want to itemize our tank, we want to itemize the second carry, and we want to get them online as fast as possible, then the big grab is probably the better choice in this kind of a spot. He rerolls right away. He's valuing the Arcane Victory quite a lot, so perhaps he's truly evaluating this stun for this Mordekaiser to scale, and allows us the LeBlanc later on to scale more. Or that simply that we would not be gaining that much from the grab bag right now, but I believe that still getting these 2 items Zoe would be a lot. Plot armor is quite decent with these vanguards, especially since it procs once you have that shield up, so you're gaining more effective HP. Bronze for life. Any comp that runs Ras can generally utilize it, but it was nerfed at the start of a set and hasn't seen that much play anymore. Otherwise a decent augment whenever you're in the spot, but he's truly evaluating the Arcane Victory so much. Alright, so that's a good pickup for me, that I have been undervaluating this augment. And we see there's already 4-2, Nunu 2 out of the pool. And there's more Nunus out of the pool. We're scouting, we're seeing, yeah, there's just a million Nunus out, right? Perhaps that's why we're holding off to this Protector's Vow Slam. Or I'm wondering what else we would be considering this component to be. Find at LeBlanc, so we have been lucky with some of our natural shops, going to utilize obviously our turn rerolls each roll. We still have a potential to be finding a single, either the Leona tree with this duplicator or a Laui 2. Yeah, I am wondering like why we were not so heavily indexing on the items. Perhaps, yeah, the choice is that we do not have really a true frontliner to itemize right now, but we could be easily transitioning these items over to Zoe as a potential right there. Also, and perhaps improve our Mordekaiser item quality as well. It's an interesting choice, but he's the pro. I'm here learning. Have the option for a Giants belt. We have the anti-heal sorted out. I'm not sure what this belt would transition, so probably just going with Thresh again, getting 5 gold. Have the option for a rod. Perhaps you're evaluating this tier to become another just damage item in its sense, since we have the spark sorted out. We have the possibility to be holding on to, but I feel like we would want to be slamming the items in this stage to simply capitalize on the tempo that we got from hitting this Mordekaiser tree and trying to make the strongest board possible. Able to level to 8 here, but pretty much still on pace, not that much gold to roll. Have the possibility to considering the Zoe 3 chase, but I believe that is going to be quite heavy. Yeah, so he wanted to make this Archangels. He wanted to have a... Since we have the scaling augment in form of a scaling assisting augment from the Arcane Victory, Archangels is going to complete quite nicely, but unfortunately we get overrun by this Jax who has managed to scale up. And now we're just simply playing your standard 3 Arbiter for Vanguard board. And we have opted to itemize our Mordekaiser with tank items since, well, if we just look at our board, there's nothing really more durable than him right now. Og here still playing around at E. He said from stage 2 pretty much has only changed him with the Kraken. Did not find the... Oh, he's sacking to go to level 9, so that is also one way how this E comp obviously is able to secure his quality placements. Has a lower win rate, but... is still performing quite well if you're able to get to that Fiora 2, which is a little less contested since the nerfs from those fast 9 boards. Finally able to find the Titan's Resolve that we were chasing. And now we have a little overlap in form of tank items. Obviously we want usually the Spark to be on our more strongest tank, and we do not have a third... Well, we could move this Morello, but Zoe is going to be a better applier of it than the... So we're going to... Okay, I mean, we can just reforge this this Bramble. Saw that the lobby is not heavy on AD. Lucky to hit item that can work as an AP carry. That's good. Our Mord does get knocked back by this Blitzcrank here, but you can see again, he's tickling the front line. Not doing that much work, but we were able to pick up a win here against the Space Group player who has... I still don't like Earth for the Space Group emblem, and I know a lot of players. If it provides you with a lot of direction, that's good, but they had to opt for Econ on the Go 4-2 as well. And then they're branching out there from another emblem that hasn't... I believe they used Liza for 2 Vanguard right there, so... we do have the setup right now. We should be quite strong, and any win that we can pick up is definitely going to bring us closer to the top 4. We can see the lobby HP is dropping low, and we are performing quite decently now that we found that we got this LeBlanc online. Perhaps having the... Well, now I believe that having the Arbiter that allowed for more scaling through attacks would have been a little more need for ourselves since LeBlanc is scaling there. But now that we have someone that can take out these tanks from this LeBlanc 2 with 3 items, and we have the Zoe to spread that anti-heal, we are able to secure some wins, and this Mordekaiser is not struggling as much as to be the killing of the units. And we can see he's always trying to position on the weak side of enemies, trying to chip off the lower HP targets with this aura, but we queue into the standard version, which let's Bard 2 on level 8, yeah, okay. Bard 2 on level 8 is going to be quite strong. Thresh finally gives us a component to complete with this sword, going to make the Giant Slayer obviously transition onto that LeBlanc. Are we going to consider more tank items from this spot? Yeah, we are going to look to improve our item quality. Perhaps we're chasing potential for a better Mordekaiser item, but he's just going to have this HP right now. And yet, picking off the weak targets, but now we are on the strong side, and we were not able to get through this fast 9 board. Has reached quite high of a cap. We are simply looking to kill also off as many units, and that is definitely achieved usually through the weak side. Kill off units, preserve HP, and we have secured ourselves at top 4. Just have to roll here on level 8. Do not really have the... Maybe if we saw a Nunu, but there's Nunu 2 out, Nunu 2 out. This is the struggle you're going to be facing, so Ilaoi 2 has to be our tank. Again, able to get on this corner here from this Space Group. It worked out quite nicely previous time, but that partially might have been because the Mord got back knocked back. They have the Blitz 2, and they're going to overrun us. Now we're hoping for Hypno to die off here so we can secure ourselves a top 3. And he's at 1 life, so now we have to just look out for a potential to kill off as many units as we can. Or maybe we're able to get away with this winning. But this is the case of the Mord Hero Augment. Always when you hit, he just starts to fall off the cliff going into stage 5, and all the boards have pretty much hit their forecasts. But this is a nice take on how to approach the line. We're able to make it to 9 though. Nonetheless, got the gold drop, find the Bard. Got the Crown Guard, which is going to be quite neat, providing more with a little more AP. Opting to play the Rast instead, simply gaining more value on our team, gaining the attack speed, which LeBlanc is also going to love. do not get on the absolute weak side, but it's fine since they have opted to go for that positioning. They're able to get on this Jin from the... This is Vish Jin. This has to be Vish Jin, and they are also trying to just simply tempo. Perhaps they're considering possibility of playing into Space Group, but it's nice that we're able to do so and pick up a win here. Find a Sona. We checked the mod, but it seems that we are not too happy about it. Going to still stick with this Rust. And now that we are against these two fast 9 boards, we're most likely going to be losing out here. Aug managed to get to that. Also, his game plan was perhaps maybe just going all the way to this fast 9 Vex board. That is also a nice quick pickup. Utilize that E to get there since we didn't have a strong Psionic, but we're going to bleed out here on top 3. Nonetheless, very nicely played game by Deisik, displaying that even some dogmas that are completely considered unclickable by many players can find their spots. Simply opted to go, hey, we're slamming all items we can for tempo. We have a clear game plan that LeBlanc is going to be a final stage carry. Going to be playing around it and, well, not going to invest in this Mordekaiser too much. Simply utilize him for tempo. And then, since we cannot make our front line, he's going to be our front line. Have a 3-star dude in front of it. That's going to have to suffice. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you're excited to see more VOD reviews from Anima Cup. And I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.